Hey guys, remember for Supergirl Season 1, Episode 15, Solitude, and I was definitely looking forward to this episode, especially on the note we left on the last one. And this episode was okay. I didn't think this was the greatest episode or a bad episode. It was just kind of a middle-of-the-road episode. I mean, the villain wasn't that compelling. I didn't really care as much about what was going on. There were some things that were really good, and then some things I didn't really like, but let's just get into this episode because there were some things I really enjoyed, but overall, like I said, kind of just a run-of-the-mill, middle ground episode, but let's just get into this one. Definitely not as bad as Blood Bonds. That's still my least favorite episode of the entire show. You guys know that, but let's just get into this episode. We start off 13 years ago. We see young Kara travels through the Phantom Zone. Her capsule activates and she wakes up. She passes by Fort Roz, and Kara watches as the station follows her, and then in present day, we see Kara wakes up, and Alex arrives at her door with powdered donuts, and the strongest stuff, I think, in this episode was this whole idea of Kara having to do this alone. She no longer can go to the DEO. She just doesn't want to work with Hank right now, and Alex having to keep that secret from her that she's actually the one that killed Astra. I think that is by far the most interesting stuff in this episode. Everything else was okay, but that was by far my favorite stuff. Basically, she figures that Kara sugar kicked before coming back to the DO. Kara says she can't work at the DO with Hank anymore, and Alex tells her sister that Hank was just doing his duty, and as a soldier, he had to kill, and Kara believes that she could bring Astra back into the light, and she can't forgive Hank for cheating her of the opportunity. She suggested it might be time for her to be her own Supergirl, and heads off to work, and that she's gonna have to do this alone, which you know is not gonna last for long, obviously. One, because, you know, Hank didn't actually kill, Astra. Was actually Alex that did that. Two, I mean, she can't really do this on her own, even though she wants to. So at Catco, Siobhan arrives with a letter for Kat. Kat arrives and tells Siobhan to get staff into her office for a meeting, and once everyone arrives, Kat demands new stories. You know, she wants new stories and things like that. Siobhan gives her the letter, and James offers to open it. Inside is a thumb drive and a letter, and the letter tells Kat to make liars and cheaters pay for what they've done, and Eder identifies it as the motto for a website, diamonddiscretions.com for adulterers, and the site is supposed to be unhackable, but it was attacked by an anonymous hacker, and Kat figures that the hacker wanted Catco to report it, and she tells Siobhan to microwave the thumb drive, and Lucy points out the site caters to powerful people and the public has a right to know, and Kat says that no one bats an eye at such stuff, refused to give the hacker legitimacy. As Siobhan leaves, she considers the thumb drive. So at the DEO base, Alex and Hank are sparring. Hank managed to subdue her, transforms back into his Martian stuff, and he tells Alex to have coffee the next time she's angry. Alex says that she misses having Kara there, and Kara isn't there because she let Kara believe that Hank killed Astra, and she wonders what will happen if the DEO fails the mission because Supergirl's gone. Because remember, they really weren't as strong without Supergirl. I mean, they need someone like Supergirl, and that kind of affects them as well. And Hank points out the DEO went on before Supergirl joined them. Alex pointed out that Hank has lost Supergirl like so many others in his life, and he says that he's accustomed to it over hard experience, that he's used to losing people that he needs to trust. Because remember, John Jones, you know, he's a killer. He's a killer. There are reasons why he kills, and, Supergirl clearly doesn't like that, and that if she doesn't like that, then she's gonna have to leave, because that's who he is, and she can't change, he's not gonna change for her. So James brings Kara pot stickers and asks if she thinks Kat did the right thing by keeping the hacker's secrets, and she realized that he's hinting at telling Lucy about her secret identity, which obviously she does not want to happen, and insists that things are too complicated and dangerous, and it's just not the right time to do that, and, basically, Lucy comes over, says that there's nothing she hates more than liars. A woman appears on all the TVs and says that she's disappointed in all of them, particularly Kat, and Kat figures that she's the hacker, and the hacker says that since Kat failed to act, all will suffer. She says the age of chaos has begun, signs off, and Kat tells Winn to fix things, goes off to her office. Every traffic light in the city turns green, causing dozens of collisions, and Kara flies off at Supergirl, stops a major crash just in time, and the next morning, financial marks are plummeting because of the cyber attack. Kat orders the staff into her office and says that National City's mainframe has been breached by the hacker, and she tells James to put every investigative team on identifying the hacker, and when she tells Siobhan to get her investment broker on the phone, Siobhan frees up and Kara volunteers to get her, which I like that Siobhan actually wasn't, okay with this. Like, she was kind of freaking out about this. It shows that Kara isn't, as freaked out, and, Siobhan is, and it shows that there are things that Kara can do that Siobhan just can't do, and I definitely like seeing that. I do like the character Siobhan, though. I think Italia Ricci definitely is doing a good job in this role, and I like seeing her back on TV, because, of course, Chasing Life got canceled, so it's good to see her, be on the show, definitely, so I like seeing that, like I said. So basically, we then see in James' office, Lucy offers her help. He says that he's going to run down some old contacts, and Lucy wonders because they're going to work with Supergirl, which obviously she does not want to happen. And James says that they should talk with dinner that night. Just as Kara comes in, tells James that they need him. James and Lucy kiss, and he heads off. And that night, Winn is working at Kara's apartment, writing code to track the hacker. He tells James and Kara that he's figured out a way to trace her. The hacker Indigo comes on and congratulates Winn his efforts. She offers to meet with him immediately, materialized out of the computer in a digital blue skin form, and Indigo knows that Kara is Supergirl, and Kara recognizes the symbol on her head as the computer symbol from Krypton. And the hacker says that she knows everything about Kara. She slams Kara out the window. She grabs Winn and James, and Supergirl flies back in. Hank and Alex burst in. Indigo tosses her captives away, disappears back into the computer, and my main problem with this episode is that Indigo, in my opinion, just wasn't that strong of a villain. It wasn't so much her motivation, it was the casting. Laura Vandervoort's a great actress, okay? She's a very good actress. I've seen her before on V, things like that. She's a very strong actress, but I really thought she was miscasted in this role. She wasn't bad. I think she did a good job with what she had, but for me, I just think that she was kind of miscasted, to be honest with you guys. So, she wasn't bad, like I said, just kind of miscast. So, Hank and Alex tell Kara that they tracked the Wi-Fi signal from the computers controlling the traffic lights. They detected something alien that led them to Kara's apartment. Hank says that the rest is classified and only available to active DEO agents, but Kara says that she'll handle it on her own and tells him to leave. So, a man's preparing to propose to his girlfriend when Indigo materializes. They run, and Non lands nearby. He wonders where she's been leaking, and Indigo says she was once linked to the Great Coulson cyber construct, and she says she's her own woman, not Brainiac 8, and knows that Astra has died. Non says his wife was an exceptional woman, and insists that my Ryad will soon make Astra's dream for Earth a reality, and he grabs Indigo, asks why she has revealed herself, and Indigo easily breaks his grip, says that Astra's plan of living alongside the humans should die with her. She warns that predators cannot live without prey. Non realizes that she's done something, and Indigo says that hell is coming to Earth, and only she and the Kryptonians will survive it. With that, she disappears back into the internet, away from Non, basically. So the next morning at Catco, Siobhan's trying to get the copier to work. Winn helps her, and Siobhan refuses to thank him, figuring that there's no point in pretending that she can count on her friends, and the IT worker then realizes that Siobhan's father was a member of the website, and Siobhan explains that she found her father having an affair with his personal assistant. She tells Winn not to tell anyone what she just said, and walks away. Now, I'm like, alright, whatever. It seemed like in this episode they had a genuine conflict for Siobhan, like they just wanted her to have some problems because they want us to care for her, and I don't really care about Siobhan. I think she's an interesting character, but I didn't really care for this whole thing in this episode. I thought it was kind of unnecessary to do all this, I have to say. Definitely, like I said, I think it was kind of unnecessary the way that this was all handled. So basically, Alex comes in, tells Kara that she came there to get Winn's help dealing with Indigo. Kara says that it's fine that Winn helps the DEO, and he reluctantly goes. James comes in, sees Alex and Winn leaving. Kara tells him what just happened. She wonders how she can track down Indigo without help, and James says that there's only one place they can go to find out about aliens. So James and Supergirl fly into the Arctic and shows her the giant dwarf star key that Kal-El uses to unlock the door. Supergirl picks it up, unlocks the door. They enter the Fortress of Solitude, among the mementos in the pod that brought Kal-El to Earth, and a robotic helper, Kelix, comes over, and Supergirl describes Indigo to it. It confirms their description matches the Colons who served as supercomputers on Krypton. One of them, Indigo, was a prisoner on Fort Ross, and she was trying to terminate Krypton's population when she was captured, and James suggested they tell Hank, but Supergirl refused because she has an ally, and that's James. So later back at Catco, James tells Lucy about Indigo. He says that he knows her from Supergirl. Lucy points out that James forgot their date to be with Supergirl. He completely forgot about it, and she says she'll call the military and have her father put them on alert. Pointedly remark, and I'm like, no, I do not want to see her father. You guys know I do not like her father. I think he's really annoying. She pointedly remarks that James keeps hurting her. Kara sees her and offers Lucy a latte, asks if she's okay. Lucy says it's hard to compete with Supergirl, and Kara says that James is the most committed and passionate man he's known, and she figures that James is always trying to live up to that commitment after his father gave him a camera, and Lucy's surprised that James told him about his father, since he's never mentioned him to Lucy. And Kara says that James could be with anyone, but he chose Lucy, and Lucy says that Kara's advice has helped a lot, and I like that scene. I like that they're actually bonding, but of course Lucy doesn't know that Kara's Supergirl, and that's the thing that kind of bothers Lucy. You can definitely tell. I mean, she knows that there's definitely something else going on. You can tell. So I like the way that scene was done. Like I said, though, I definitely did enjoy that overall. like I said, definitely really good stuff. I like that we saw that, basically. Definitely, I enjoyed that scene overall. Carter and James go back over the information from the fortress. James points out that she has him. Lucy comes over, figures that Indigo started with Diamond Discretions to get information on General Jonathan Mathers, and he was exposed with thousands of others when the site was hacked, and Lucy figures that Mathers is the reason that the hack happened. So at the DO, Winn tries to decrypt Indigo's signal. Alex wishes the car was there. I love Winn's line where he's like, "You guys realize you want me to decrypt this signal in the form of a Doctor Who episode." I thought that was really funny. Lucy, and just that humor that Winn has, we haven't seen a lot of, and I think they're definitely trying to do more with it. Winn is definitely, they're trying to make him like the Cisco of the show. I don't think he sells as well as Cisco, but I think he's doing a good job. I just don't really see Jeremy Jordan as a nerdy type character, but I think he's done a good job, definitely. So Lucy says that Indigo's attacks were discretion to conceal the fact that she was declassifying Mather's entire online footprint. They let her determine he has access to the military's nuclear missile launch sites. Winn makes the same determination, and Hank points out that no one can hack the site. Fort Pemberton from the outside, they fight, and Indigo completes the launch sequence. Lucy figures that Indigo's using Mather's to get into Fort Pemberton. Mather's enters the Fort Pemberton missile silo. His cell phone rings, and he answers it. Indigo materializes in the chambers, entering via the phone signal. She takes out the soldiers, kills all of them but one, and when he points out that two people have to turn the key, she knocks him out, takes the keys. Indigo then elongates her arms, activating both key switches, and as the missiles begin their pre-flight launch, Indigo sees an incoming on radar. As the nation goes to DEFCON 4, Winn warns Hank that they can't get a team to Fort Pemberton in time. Supergirl flies into the missile silo, confronts Indigo, they fight. Indigo finishes the launch sequence, then manages to get her opponent in a crushing grip. They watch as the missiles prepare for launch. Supergirl breaks free, flies off after the missile. The DEO track the missile approaching National Save, realize they have 3 minutes until it arrives, and as she flies after the missile, Supergirl contacts James and warns him that there's no time to evacuate the city. Supergirl promises to stop the missile, and the DO detects Supergirl approaching the missile. Supergirl then pushes the missile off course, but it reverts to course. James warns her not to use her heat vision for fear will detonate the warhead, and Supergirl has no choice but to call Hank and ask for his help. He says that they'll stop it together, tell her to shut down the missile's onboard flight computer. Supergirl managed to grab the missile, and Winn tells Alex that it's a computer virus that can shut down Indigo, luckily. Supergirl managed to input this kill code in the flight computer. It lands in the harbor without the warhead detonating. She then flies back to the silo, attacks Indigo. Indigo realizes that she's talking to Alex and infiltrates the DO computers. She attacks Winn, the DO base, warns Supergirl that Winn will die. However, Winn manages to input his virus. We know that Winn's obviously not going to die. And he tells Indigo that he's just fed her a massive malware code. And as she dies, Indigo does confess that she wouldn't be on Earth without her, that Supergirl would not be around without her. And when Card's pod passed by Fort Pod, Indigo linked it to Fort Roz, and Indigo led the pod out of the Phantom Zone, and Fort Roz followed. Indigo then breaks apart as the code destroys her, and like I said, just wasn't that strong of a villain. I understand that was the point of her, but I just thought Linda Vandervoort was kind of miscasted. I would have wanted someone a bit older. It just would have made more sense, and it didn't really work for me. So later, Winn arrives at Catco, suggests to Siobhan that they talk. He says that he thought his family was perfect, and then his dad became a murderer and went to jail. Winn knows how it feels when a father let his child down, tells Siobhan that most people want to be there for her. She abruptly kisses Winn, then drags him into the elevator, and like I said, it seems like he's going to be her love interest, and honestly, I think it's kind of the girl that Winn needs. Now that the whole Kara thing is over, I think I'm glad that these two are together, and I'm thinking that I like Winn and Siobhan. They both are kind of in the same situation. I like them overall, and I think that Winn needs someone like Siobhan. So I like this bonding, and I hope it continues. So like I said, I really am liking them. So in Kat's office, Kat and James watch news reports about the missile being dismissed as a space shuttle. Kat realized that it wasn't a rocket. James admits that they came close to dying. Kara comes in, tells Kat that she's gonna go home to hug her son. Kara tells James she's alright, then admits that she doesn't want Lucy to know her secret because she likes just her and James working together. She tells James to tell Lucy her secret, and James thanks her. And James then finds Lucy on the balcony, and he's about to tell her what's going on, but then Lucy says that it's over. She literally breaks it off, tells him what Kara said earlier. When Kara mentioned James' father, Lucy realized that James has never shared that story with her, and he told Kara because he loves her. And Lucy tells James that Kara feels the same, even if he can't say it yet, and they definitely should be together. She thinks, at least, that they should be together. Do I think they should be together? I don't know, but that's how Lucy saw it. It seems like we've gotten rid of this character, which I'm happy about because, like I said, I don't think James has had a decent storyline in a while, and I think by getting rid of Lucy, this gives James a much more opportunities for better storylines. So at the DO, Supergirl finds Alex and Hank sparring. She admits that they're stronger as a team, need each other, personal feelings aside. Alex finally tells Supergirl that she killed Astra to save Hank's life, and she explains why Hank lied to Supergirl. She was afraid of losing Supergirl, and as Alex breaks into tears, we see Kara hugs her sister, and she's not upset. It just feels like a relief. She understands why she had to hide it. She understands what's going on. Hank starts to leave. Supergirl stops him, offers her hand, and he takes it, and they're back together as a team, which I don't really know how I feel about the fact that they're already back together, but I'm glad that Alex confessed. I think that storyline was good, but I'm glad that it ended in this episode because I think it was good that Alex finally told her the truth, because it's gone too far. And then the end of this episode, at the Kryptonian base, Non uses a computer spirit to reconstruct Indigo. He asks if the compute construct is ready to do things his way, and that's how the episode ends. So I don't really know how I feel about Non reconstructing Indigo, maybe using her as a weapon and things like that, but we'll have to see what happens there. Like I said, not my favorite episode by any means. I'm glad that Lucy's gone. I don't really think we need her around anymore, and I do think that James does like Kara. I think he just doesn't want to confess anything because we don't really know how Kara feels about him, what's going on there. We don't really know if James and Kara should be together right now. I don't really know if James is going to confess his feelings to Kara. We'll have to see. But getting rid of Lucy, it just feels like James now has more freedom to have better storylines and not just this drama with Lucy that I think's been going on for far way too long. I've never really been that much of a fan of. So I'm glad that Lucy's gone. I'm glad we're not going to have to face anymore. Look, you know, I think Jenna Dewan Tatum is a great actress. There's no denying that. She's really good, but just this show, I think she can do a lot better than Lucy Lane, definitely. They didn't do a lot with her character. They didn't really do anything that interesting. I do, however, really like Winn and Sibohan. I hope that these two go far. I think it's kind of unexpected, but I like them overall, and I hope that Winn and Sibohan do last. I like where they're headed with that. Overall, guys, like I said, not my favorite episode by any means. I think Indigo was kind of miscasted, but overall, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I heard the next episode is amazing. Most people are saying it's the best episode so far, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys saw of this episode. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for episode 16 of Supergirl. Slowly catching up. I have 2 left, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.